Alright, welcome back to another Art of War 3 replay. I'm your host, JEONG SINAH, and today we're going to be doing a 1v1 battle. I'm going to be the blue Confederate player, facing off against a rank 18 resistance player. I am rank 19, however this red player has an 84% win rate, so they're really strong. So we got an exciting battle lined up here. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. We got some early scouting occurring on the battlefield here. My Cyclone's getting a scout onto the red player's base. We can see that red is going for double AV factories and is upgrading their assault vehicle factories. So we can see porcupines are also in production, and we can see that barracks being upgraded. So we might see some armadillos, jaguars, grenadiers, snipers mixed in with dragonfly spam. So I have a contract that I'm trying to fulfill for this battle, so I'm going to be using actually a lot of heavy assaults. We can see that red is starting to accumulate units pretty quickly here. We already see multiple dragonflies and a porcupine. I'm going to be launching an early game attack here with hammers and heavy assaults. And we can see that the dragonflies are starting to respond to my tanks. They take out the tanks, and my infantry are going to need to retreat. Red's got a couple sniper towers and riflemen mixed together, and that is not going to end well for me. So I'm going to go ahead and regroup. Red is now trying to counterattack. We see a few dragonflies in the mix there, a couple porcupines and some infantry. And these dragonflies are pretty strong, so I'm going to be using a gold air raid boost to maximize the power of my units. I already know that since there's going to be dragonfly spam, I need to get some typhoons out. So I've got 2 factories for typhoon production, and I'm just continuing to assemble an army. And we can see that there's a large army over at the top of the map there. So Reds actually made units way faster than I thought they would. So here we go, first major engagement of the battle. We've got heavy assaults, hammer tanks, typhoons fighting off against multiple vehicles here and helicopters. But looks like I'm going to win the engagement here, or at least I'm going to finish off enough of Red's units that Red is going to retreat. I've got a gold infantry attack boost going to boost the power of my heavy assaults. So now I'm going to move in to secure the large resource container. Got a lot of troops moving in. Those extra resources are going to come in handy. So just continuing to produce units here. We can see a couple of dragonflies have snuck in to dish out some damage against my second rocket tower there, and that's not going to be good news for my rocket tower. I am going to lose the rocket tower, and we're going to be able to finish off a dragonfly in the process. But it looks like Red has already produced another ground army. Red is producing units very fast, and it looks like Red is going to launch an assault here. I've only got 1 rocket tower and 1 anti-air tower and a couple units here at the front entrance here to defend. So I'm actually going to instead counterattack and see if I can pull Red into a base trade. I've got a large army moving onto the red player's base. Red knows they cannot press the assault, so they're going to go ahead and retreat. So here we go. We are now launching an assault here. We've got hammer tanks, heavy assaults, and 6 typhoons to take care of the dragonflies. So I've got momentum for now, but reinforcements are rapidly pouring in for the resistance side. So I need to try and finish off as much infrastructure as I can. I'm trying to take out that level 3 assault vehicle factory to deny Jaguar production, but those Jaguars are dishing out steady damage against my hammer tanks. My hammer tanks don't quite have the armor to withstand the fire from those Jaguars. And looks like Red's definitely gold boosting here. We can see that a lot of my heavy assaults got cleaned up, so I'm going to need to transition my army build here. That is actually a miss micro there. You can see the typhoons were wandering towards the Jags. I meant to move them away. So the pathfinding wasn't really helpful in that case. Here we go. Red is trying to launch a counterattack of some sorts, but looks like they're going to retreat. They don't have any anti-air, and I've got a bunch of cyclones. So Red is going to move back towards their base. We see a porcupine from the red player putting some fire down on my cyclones. So I'm going to go ahead and retreat. I'm going to lose a cyclone in the process. So now I'm just continuing to produce units. I'm actually going to mix in some Taurens now. I need some heavier firepower if I'm going to take on this red player. Red's now moving in with a combined army here. We see Jaguars, infantry, and porcupines. I've got a couple torrents here, but the torrents do get cleaned up. I'm starting to move the bulk of my army in. I'm trying to pull red into a direct engagement because that is going to favor me. Red is smart enough to pull back though, so red's going to retreat towards the security of their base. I don't have enough firepower to keep advancing. My cyclones are being poorly microed. They're kind of playing aggressively here. And we can see that my heavy assaults are now firing onto the vehicles here for red. Red's got multiple Jaguar tanks on the other side of the bridge there. And between the sniper towers and the narrow entrance, it's just going to be too hard to break through for now. So we can see I'm going to upgrade my assault vehicle factory. I'm going to go and get some Zeus tanks out. I'm just continuing with double Avia factory production. Now I've got a couple torrents just firing onto the front entrance there of the base. So I've got 3 torrents. That's a lot of firepower on my end. So I need to be mindful of how quickly I advance my torrents. I've got my other units as well for security. And we can see that red is advancing with the Jaguar tank. That Jaguar tank is going to get cleaned up by my torrents. Here comes the red player though. Red is launching an attack at the side of my base here. We see Jaguar tanks, snipers, and porcupines. So I'm going to take this as a sign to commit. We're going to go ahead and move on to the red player's base. And now we've got a base trade starting to unfold here. Red's got Jaguar tanks, porcupines, and snipers firing onto my ground troops here. I've got a couple units in the area, but that's not going to be enough. Meanwhile, Red's got a pretty big base here, and they've got steady reinforcements flowing in from their end of things. We see dragonflies, infantry, and porcupines, and now the base trade is continuing. My units are starting to rain as much fire as possible onto the enemy units while my units at the red player's base are advancing. So we're starting to make some advances onto the red player's base, but we're starting to run out of real estate on our end here as well. So I'm trying to defend as much as possible, trying to finish out the red player's base. Red is also in trouble though. Red is low power at this time, and only that assault vehicle factory is going. But my assault has lost so much of its momentum, and now we're just at a stalemate here. Who can finish off the other person first? I got 3 torrents coming back into the fold to help defend, and that's going to be so helpful. One of those Jaguar tanks gets finished off. Looks like red just has 1 Jaguar tank and 1 dragonfly for now. The dragonflies are being zoned out by my typhoons. Looks like red is finally losing steam on the attack here. They've only got 1 Jaguar and 1 porcupine. I have also lost steam here though. I've only got 3 typhoons and 1 Zeus tank. That is just not going to be enough to finish off the red player. So I'm going to move my torrents back in to help defend. And looks like we finally finished off the red player's forces, but red has also finished off my attack force. I'm going to leave my Zeus tank behind, and I'm going to try to see if I can save the typhoons. Gold reconstruction boost goes down. I'm going to use a gold construction boost as well. So I've thrown down a bunch of infrastructure, and now I'm going to build it as fast as possible. I need to get my infrastructure back up. The good thing is I haven't lost a lot of my factories, so now I can reinforce the front line still and keep things going. So now we're going to move our front line back up to red. We need to keep the pressure on red. We cannot let red get back into the game. So I've got 3 torrents now firing onto that special vehicle factory. Here come the dragonflies though. They are starting to single out my torrents. Torrents are taking heavy fire from the dragonflies. And I'm going to lose 2 torrents in the process. Gold attack boost gets thrown on. We got cyclones and various units fighting it out with the red. Red's got a nice variable composition as well. Red is going to retreat. Looks like they wanted to just take care of my torrents, so I don't have any other torrents except for that one that just arrived. So now I'm just trying to produce more units now, starting to go for more cyclones, trying to amass as many cyclones as possible. And we can see the dragonflies are firing on that 1 cyclone that I used to scout. The scout does get cleaned up, so I'm going to move a couple typhoons in, so now I've got a little more map control. So new plan here, I'm going to use my cyclones to try and harass the red player at the side here. So firing onto that sniper tower, I sent 1 cyclone over to take care of the infantry in the large resource container. Now I'm trying to kite the dragonflies over, and we're going to score some free hits onto those dragonflies. Gold air race boost gets thrown on. And let's see if we can take out a couple dragonflies here. 2 dragonflies get taken out. Very nicely done. Looks like my kiting worked. So my plan is to use my cyclones to harass the red player, keep the red player stressed out while I continue to build my assault force before I launch one last major attack. And we can see the dragonflies and the units are just starting to respond. Red is forced to continue to micro their units to respond to my attacks. And now we're going to move my torrents a little bit closer. We're going to fire onto that special vehicle factory. Red is starting to run out of options. And here we go now. This is going to be the major confrontation unfolding on the battlefield. This is the last big battle of this game. It's going to be a mixed army on both sides here. Lots of carnage just unfolding. My torrents, though, are dishing out so much damage against the ground troops, while the typhoons dished out a lot of damage against the dragonflies. There's only 1 dragonfly left so far, and there's only a couple vehicles left from the resistance side. And now I'm going to move up my ground troops to start to punch through. Red is now in trouble. We are now inside the base. 4 Zeus tanks to 1 Jaguar tank is just not going to work out for the resistance player. Gold vehicle attack boost gets thrown on, and my Zeus tanks are now starting to steadily move in onto the red player. Red is now in huge trouble. Red does not have any units left for defense. And we're going to go ahead and finish off the assault vehicle factory and the special vehicle factory. And with those 2 factories down, this is pretty much good game. Red is going to continue to fight back though, but now I have the momentum on my side. 6 typhoons in the area is so good for just shutting down all of those dragonflies. And with that, Red is essentially lost. They only have a couple barracks to produce grenadiers here and there, and I've got those cyclones and the torrents, and that is going to be no problem to deal with. Alright, hope you all enjoyed this really action-packed, fast-paced battle on a small map. I'm typically not a fan of fighting on small jungle maps such as this one, so just a little bit something different. Hopefully you all enjoyed the battle. We will see you in the next battle. Good luck until then.